Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all.
Matt just asked me about the thing we're talking about tonight. She's like, did anything crazy happen after this point? I'm like, yes. And she just looks devastated. I'm so sorry.
Because I haven't finished the last episode yet.
I know. Okay, so we've been on a thing. I had lunch yesterday with Tina for her birthday, and Caitlin was there, right? And little Camp, who was my little lunch buddy. It was great. And Caitlin looks at me and she goes, have you seen Should I Marry a Murderer on Netflix?
I've seen it pop up, and I was thinking it was probably just like not a documentary. I thought it was just going to be like some movie, and I don't love when people like make movies.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I'd rather watch murder documentaries and not like murder movies.
100%. No, I'm the same. But I
thought it was a movie.
It looked theatrical. I don't know when it came out. Maybe like in the last week, right? It's number one on Netflix.
Yeah. No, it's new.
Absolute rabbit hole. I watched the first episode and then I was like in and then texted you, and then that's been on your agenda today. I mean, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
So Nat, you have watched, let me back up. First of all, hello. And have you stopped eating your candy so Garrett doesn't murder?
Yeah, I put my candy away.
That's good. He'll be glad to hear that. Second of all,
Garrett wanted to kill us from our last episode because we ate gummies. Sorry, I should rephrase that. We ate Sour Patch Kids.
It's all we had.
Not gummies in the sense that most people would probably think of.
Yeah, and we're in Colorado, so we have to be really clear.
So that's why I had to rephrase that.
That's great. No gummies, not while at work when we were recording.
Or ever.
But we were famished. Famished.
Yes, I was starving, and I had my Sour Patch Kids from the retreat.
Well, and then we were doing our Sour Patch Kid caffeine dance before group, where it's like you get a little sugar in there, you get a little coffee in there, and then we can maybe make the rest of the day work, you know?
I don't recall the dance, but
you have a happy dance, and so does Grace when you eat something yummy.
Grace does have a happy dance.
It's a little bit. It's not a lot. You didn't go like full.
I wasn't like this, like Grace does.
No, just a little bit though. There's like you get a little happy, you know. I do too.
Especially sour candy.
We went in to this documentary pretty blind. I did anyway. Yeah. I just heard it was super good, and then it has not disappointed. And I have 1 million things I want to ask you about. So if you have not seen it, watch it and come back. If you're like Nat and you've watched half of it, dealer's choice. Good luck to you.
I've watched more than half. I'm on the last episode.
Oh my gosh, it's so wild. But here's the really good things.
It is spoiler alert. So if you want to watch it before you listen to this,
please do.
Please do. You've been warned.
If you want a bestie to process it with, we're here for you. That's what we're doing today. We're going to talk it through because I found myself making a rookie mistake mentally while I was watching it. And you're going to know what I mean when we get to it. Really, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Who am I? It's like I don't do this for a living. And then it clicked. So I made Garrett watch part of it with me. Okay. And you know Garrett hates true crime, which makes
both of our husbands do.
Very miserable to edit. And they both listen, and Garrett listens ad nauseum. But even he was like, hey, you should talk about this, and what about this, and why this? So even Garrett was interested in this one.
So I told Preston to listen to it or to watch it because he would probably be also interested.
It's really interesting.
It is.
It's really interesting. And there's a couple of interesting things about where this happened to that I will get to. So we are talking about Should I Marry a Murderer on Netflix. Okay. So it opens up, and like Nat said, and even the little icon on Netflix, because it's in Scotland, it's like beautiful. It doesn't look like it's going to be a documentary. So it opens up, and it's the Highlands, and it's bagpipe music, and Then there's this main narrator that you meet who's gorgeous, and her name is Dr. Caroline Muirhead, and she's talking about falling in love. And you're looking at this like, what is
I
this?
forgot she was a doctor, but yeah, she's a coroner.
Yeah, and it's like, what is this going to be about?
Not a coroner. What is she?
Medical examiner, I think.
Yes.
Whatever they call it in Scotland.
I know.
But she's a doctor, medical doctor.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
So at the end of her little intro monologue, she says, to remain in love, you have to keep the secret that you know is going to destroy you. And I'm like, what? And the thing that hit me that we're going to come back to with that is remain in love. To remain in love, you have to keep the secret. I'm like, that's wild to me. But we'll come back to that. So the year's 2020. Caroline is as we established, gorgeous doctor, 29 years old. She had a long-term partner for 8 years. They both had good jobs. They had their first home. She assumed they would get married and have children. She was finishing up medical school. She had a photographic memory and a total genius, which I don't know what kind of genetic jackpot she got that she's that smart and that pretty, but my goodness, right? Good for her. So she and her partner, instead of getting married, they end up breaking up because of a terrible betrayal that they don't detail. And what she said was the whole relationship had kind of been a lie. And her friends talk about how it's like a bomb went off, particularly her friend James, who's through the documentary, right?
Yeah, they talked. It was like a really big deal to all of them. Whatever happened was a massive deal.
All those years and you're in med school with people and they're your friends and they probably knew him really well. So she was working as a pathologist in Glasgow, literally in a mortuary. They determined cause of death. So medical examiner, pathologist, whatever. She goes through this breakup and she's like, I'm going to get on Tinder.
Yeah. Well, she was funny because she was like, you know, the mortuary. She was like, that's not the best place to meet the person you want to be with. So she gets on Tinder and then I laughed because she was like, what could go wrong? And I was like, girl, a lot of things can go wrong on Tinder.
Things can go wrong. And
a lot of things.
I cast a wide net to most of Scotland, okay? And
Did she not watch Tinder Swindler?
No, clearly not.
Oh my gosh.
Clearly not. Or I have a character in my book, the Tinder Fisher. It's epic. It's like a constellation of a bad Tinder guy, like a psychopathic bad Tinder guy, which
yeah.
So
this is it.
Yeah. So while she's on Tinder, okay, and she's getting hits because she's gorgeous and professional and all the things. She comes across this man named Sandy, who's a 29-year-old gamekeeper, and he's like a 6'4" Highlander. And we've talked about height before. She was like 6'4" Highlander, say less. And she's still a little giddy talking about it. This is what is like wild to me.
I have theories.
Here's his tagline. Oh, me too. I have so many. I can't wait. Okay. But I have to get through the basics. Okay. So here's his tagline on Tinder. Lonely contractor looking for someone to keep him warm on cold nights on the farm. And she's like, sign me up, man.
Which is like, I don't know if I'm just vanilla, but I'm like, I would never.
Vanilla. I love that you think that's vanilla.
You're like, I'm vanilla. That is not vanilla. Like, that's insanity.
I feel like vanilla is like actual sex things. Is vanilla just like boring and basic?
Yes.
But I thought that was while sexing.
I don't know.
While doing the sex?
I think it's just, it can be a personality type.
Oh, vanilla personality. Fair.
Yeah, like they have a vanilla personality.
Yeah, well, she does not. I don't know what she has, but it's not vanilla.
She's not vanilla. And he's not vanilla. And his tagline is very not vanilla.
No, and she's like, he's a manly man with a hunting company. So she sent her number and she's like, call me. And he called her.
I'm gonna be so embarrassed when people write in and they're like, no, Natalie, you're 100% wrong. That is just sex. And I'm gonna you know.
I think vanilla is a sex thing, but maybe it can also be a personality thing.
I think it's both, but I could be very wrong.
Well, either you're wrong or my mind's in the gutter. Either way, we're going to get messages. Either way. So she's like, call me. He calls her right away, which she thinks is amazing. Okay. Like, boop. So he invited her to come on up to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
She calls her friend and she's like, hey, it's an hour and a half drive. What do you think? Should I go? And her friend says, I shit you not. Well, what if he's a murderer? Which made her laugh. I'm like, oh my God. So she gets in her little car and she drives an hour and a half into the beautiful Highlands. I mean, it is like breathtakingly gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me want to go so bad. And so I know.
She's a doctor.
I know. Also, why wouldn't he come to her? This is the whole thing. I'm like, I'm as empowered as the next woman, but this is a lot to go drive an hour and a half into kind of the wilderness, like super rural, to go meet this man on Tinder.
There's no way. And you have to stay there because she's like, it's not like it's like
no
30-minute drive. This
no,
is
I mean,
a
she
far
could
drive.
probably round trip it, but I don't think that was her plan. You know what I mean? Her plan was to go be with this man and keep him warm.
Yeah.
Right? That was the plan. I mean, I'm assuming he put what he wanted and she said yes. So I'm thinking.
You're not wrong.
Right? Okay. So she gets to the Auk estate and they meet, and he actually is both handsome and 6'4", not 6'1", not 5'11". He's 6'4", which she knows. And she's giggling talking about it. And he has planned a day in the hills. So they're driving together. They have this adorable moment where he lets her drive his truck through the ravine. And then they are just off to the races after the first date. Like, let's go. So she would go home.
Well, and it's interesting because he phrases it after the first date. He goes, would you like to see me again? Not like, hey, I would love to see you again. Would you like to see me again?
Yes.
And of course, she's like, yeah. And then she's like, do you want to see me? Right. But I just think that's an interesting way to put it.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Southeast Counseling Center. Southeast Counseling Center is a 501c3 nonprofit mental health provider right here in Parker, Colorado, conveniently located just off major highways. We serve the whole family, from play therapy for kids to couples and family therapy, trauma treatment, psychological testing, and specialized groups. Access matters. That's why Southeast Counseling Center accepts Medicaid, Tri-West, and victim compensation, and also offers a community subsidy program to help people who fall in the gap between Medicaid and traditional insurance coverage. And because we're a nonprofit, every dollar donated by the community goes directly towards providing treatment services for people who need help. Prefer to meet at home? Telehealth is available statewide, so anyone in Colorado can access our services. To get started, call 720-842-5553 or fill out our secure web inquiry form at secounseling.org. Southeast Counseling Center, care that is accessible, compassionate, and rooted in the community.
For sure. There's a lot of interesting things happening here. But they're also like falling in love. They're beautiful together. And she's on the socials like all the time too. So there's pictures, beautiful scenery. They're a beautiful couple, whatever. So she's going to this mortuary where she does her, the hospital where she's basically doing post-mortem examinations to determine cause of death. And then she gets in her car and hits it on the weekends or on her days off to go be with him in this cozy farmer's cottage up in this beautiful place, right? And she says, those farmers, they work hard, play hard. So they work real hard. And then they have a shed with the speaker and the bass, and they're drinking and they're partying when they're not working. Right? So while she's kind of falling in love, her friends, particularly this friend James, who I thought was maybe in love with her, but he's not. Later it comes out he has a partner or whatever. But I was for a minute, I was like,
he had a wife and like a kid on the way, and he's like,
She was
Anyway,
pregnant, whatever.
we'll come back.
But he cared about her a lot. I might have loved her at one point, allegedly. I don't know. But he cared about her a lot, and he's watching this happen, and he's worried about her because this was fast. Like within a month or two of this breakup, she's like practically living with this guy, right? So she says, and there's just a few golden quotes in here, and there's so much video footage because she was always taking videos of herself and them together. But she says, Sandy was very interested in my work. He was not squeamish.
Which is so well. Then she gets into like his hunting and how they like got all the animals. But I'm like, it's funny, not funny. She says later, and I'm sure we'll get more into this, where she's like, I feel like maybe he was using me for what I did for work, which again we'll come back to.
Yes.
But
this
also,
is pre that. She's like, he
no,
can
I know.
with my work. Like they can sit and put their feet up and talk about, gutting
Weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And she talks in detail about like the process of an autopsy, essentially, right?
Yeah.
When she takes the organs out, and then also how you do that when you hunt.
Yeah.
And then she talked about how fast he was with his knife skills and handling meat and blah blah blah. And she said how weird that we both have this niche, like these overlapping specialties surrounding death.
Yeah.
And he said, and I quote, "I've never had someone I could talk to about death this much." I'm dying. I'm so in at this point. Then I'm like, we're doing it on the pod. So I start taking notes. So Sandy, just to get a feel for his personality. So Caroline is like just sparkly, gorgeous blonde, sparkly, laughs all the time. Like she's just documenting everything. Looks like she can't have a bad day. Sandy's loud and would drink a lot. Very loving and affectionate when he's on his downtime, he's not working. But then there would be like this moment when he was drinking where he would hit a drink, and this is true for a lot of people, and everything would change.
Yeah, and like lights off.
Lights off. What did they say that about Snooki? Snooki, back in the day.
So random.
They would listen. It connects in my brain. When she would get super drunk, they would say she'd been abducted.
Oh.
That's this. You know what I mean? When you're gone, you're gone. Like he's just gone.
Yeah.
But then he would be kind of a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah.
Now they weren't just drinking. They also were using some drugs, right? And Caroline's kind of noticing that maybe everything is not perfect at this point, but she's also so enamored with like good Sandy, and she gets good Sandy a fair bit of the time. So they have this moment. They go to his uncle's estate. So they met in early October. By the end of November, they're at his uncle's estate doing private shoots where they're going and they're shooting clay pigeons. And the uncle says, I want to give you a place like this for your engagement present. And she's like, what? And Sandy's like, yeah, I want you to be my wife. And so then they're joking about a ring, and it escalates really quickly from there.
Well, they get actually engaged in that moment.
They get engaged. They have a few more conversations about it, but they get engaged, and it gets announced on Facebook.
By him.
Yes, by him.
And her parents and friends are like floored.
And crickets. They're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And her attitude, and I think probably people can relate to this, is like, you all have your happy endings. Don't get in the way of mine, right? Like,
yeah, but I
that
feel like there was a little bit of hesitance in her.
I think there was a part of her that knew that it was quick. Yes. At least.
She knew it was quick. I felt the vibe that I felt as she was talking about it was like she was trying to shove it off and have what you just said, like, you guys have all like your happy endings, let me have mine. But it felt like she was like actively doing that to not think about how crazy this actually was.
I agree. I totally agree. And then kind of in that vein, they're driving in the car shortly after this, I think on the same trip, either on the same trip or right after. And she asks him if there's anything she doesn't know. Like, what are you proud of? What are you not proud of? Like, she wants to know. And then he gets quiet. He's heavy breathing. Then he's sobbing. And she starts asking, Do you have a child? And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
She's like, for you.
Are you in debt? Is it debt? He's like,
Yeah.
no. Then
He's like, I wish it was a child or debt.
and this is where for me the story would come to an end. But he pulls over, okay, stops the car, takes the keys from the ignition, takes her phone, puts it in the glove compartment,
Yeah, no.
and asks her to get out of the car.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
no, that's a hard pass. I'm sorry, Caroline. I'm gonna have compassion for you, but this is a hard pass. Just that alone. And the way she said it too, it wasn't like he said, "Can you get out of the car, please?" It was like, "Get out of the car." Like even
Yeah.
oh,
No, there's no, when I heard her share that, I was like, girl,
mm-mm.
and you stayed after this? Anyway.
Oh, well that's just that moment. That moment, I'd be like, that's enough weird for me. I don't care what you have to say. Bye. Can't do it. So September 29th, 2017.
But like, hold on, go back to that moment.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I would probably comply in that moment
Well,
because I
yeah,
would be scared.
I'd be like, he's gonna murder me. I've known him
Yes.
for 6 weeks. Less
Yes.
than that.
So I'd be
6 weeks.
scared. So I'd probably comply. But then
Yeah.
after I lived, I would have GTFO'd that.
Yes, not only do you live, but you live and then you hear this that a
Mhm.
couple years before, September 29th, 2017,
Mhm.
he and Robert were at one of their rip-roaring parties a mile or so from the estate where they lived. They'd had a successful hunting day, they're
Mhm.
drinking. So they get in the truck, they're going to go to another friend's house, which they
Mhm.
do. And then on the way home, the story is that he was blinded by a truck's lights, hit a cyclist. The man flew over the car. They stopped. They said there was no way he was alive. He was dead. The brothers were fighting over whether or not to take this situation to the police. They determined they'd lose everything. If they
Mhm.
called police, it was just an accident. They're like rationalizing, why should we lose our whole lives over this? He's dead. It's an accident. And they buried him
Mhm. On their estate.
on their estate. And he said, he's on the estate. You jog past him every day. He's under your feet when we shoot clay pigeons.
Mhm.
She believed him in that moment that he had all of this remorse because he was saying it that way and he's
When he was
crying
crying, yeah.
and he
Mhm.
sounds remorseful and he had no reason to tell her this. Literally no reason. He was not under investigation. There was no reason to tell her. She never
Mhm.
needed to know this, right?
Mhm.
He told her in that moment for whatever reason. She believed him, right? And told him she loved him. And then he has this shift and he's like joyful, happy, almost giddy because this weight is off his shoulders.
Mhm.
Right now, it's landed squarely on hers, but it's off
Mhm.
of his.
Mhm.
So now, why do you think he told her? He didn't have to tell her.
I know. Well, it's weird because at the beginning of this documentary, I was like, because the question like is always like, is he on the continuum of psychopathy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was hearing him talk about it, I was like, I don't know if he is um, because of how he reacted, and
Mm-hmm.
also not the remorse part, but the guilt was lifted. So he felt guilty. There was guilt
Yes.
for him,
Yes.
which is why he told her.
Yes. I do not think he's a psychopath.
No, I don't either.
But there is a question mark around a couple of things, though, where I'm
Yes,
like,
yes,
am I getting
agreed.
snowed too? Maybe.
Well, that's what made that question, is he a psychopath, harder later
Yes.
because of things we started to hear. But then there were things, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he is. I landed with I don't think he is, and
Mm-mm.
we'll share more about why.
Yeah, this was the first clue that maybe he's not, is he had no
Yeah,
reason to tell her. Literally
yeah.
no reason to tell her.
And was sobbing, and then also that giddy feeling,
Yes.
right? Like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one holding this anymore.
Yes, I'm relieved,
Hmm.
right? So she felt ashamed pretty immediately because she gets home and she's like, oh my God, I know this thing now and this person that I love. And how am I going to tell people? I just told people I'm going to marry him. And she
And it was
Googles it and
When it
finds
was
out.
following this whole thing with her last relationship, because
Right.
there was shame for her of like, feeling like I just got out of this big
Yeah.
mess. And
Yes.
now I'm in something worse.
And
She literally said,
what are
this
they
is
going to
worse.
think? This is
Yeah.
worse. And her parents were really disappointed that that relationship ended the way it did. And
Mhm.
I think even when somebody else does something stupid, we feel stupid when we're with them. So I think there was a bit of that too. So she Googles it, like, she's in bed and she Googles it in bed with him.
No, I know that's
Oh
crazy.
my God, all of it's so stressful.
Mhm.
But she Googles it and finds his photo and more about what happened. And the victim in this case is Tony Parsons, who was crossing Scotland on a 100-mile charity cycle ride. He was a Navy veteran.
Mhm.
And he basically, the night that he was hit, he had gone into a bar, had a cup of coffee. He was telling the bartender about, this ride that he's doing and everything. And he was soaked, like cold and soaked.
Mhm.
And the bartender even said, like, hey man, do you need a room for the night or what? And he just said he had to finish his ride. He goes back out there, back into that terrible weather, right? He was
Mhm.
63 years old,
Mhm.
which is really incredible when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weirdly, that's also the same age as Caroline's dad. So
Mm.
she's hearing this and she's like, oh my God, this man's family,
Mhm.
right? So it's starting to settle in. She goes back to work. She goes back to Glasgow. She goes back to work and she's doing an examination on a man who reminded her of that other man,
Mhm.
the man who
Mm.
died. And so she's like tortured and she goes outside, checks her phone, and she gets a call from Sandy. And he's like, let's get married, babe. Like, let's go to the
And
lot.
she's like literally imploding.
Yeah, and she's dying,
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
But she just couldn't end it, even though internally she's just panicking. And the producer even asked her, like, at what point were you gonna go to the police, dude? Like, there's a little bit of, come on.
Right.
Because she just wasn't accepting it. She was not processing it. It was leading up to the holidays, which I also find that interesting in some ways,
Mhm.
leading up to the holidays. And so she still picks this man up,
Mhm.
takes him to her parents' house for the holidays. Her parents had put framed pictures of them on the mantle. It was kind of their way of saying, like, we accept you and
Mhm.
this relationship, trying to be loving.
Mhm.
Sandy's like proud as a peacock. He's so happy. He's on the mantle. Like he's made it, right? He's happy. And she's just like,
Yeah, and they like liked him.
they really like him.
He fit in, he was clean, he was very personable. And so she was
Polite.
like beside herself. She was like, I don't even know what to do because now he's like embedded in my family. Also, it's wild that she made that decision to go to her family's house.
Yes.
Like, I can have some of an understanding as to like her trying to process this news and like not going to the police right away.
Yep.
But when she still went to her parents, I was like, dude, I would have just been like, hey,
Mm,
like, let's either just not go or I'm gonna go for a few less days and then like we can hang out. I would not have brought someone who killed someone to my family's house.
absolutely not. Me neither. No.
That's insane.
It's absolutely nuts.
Hmm.
Also been would have been weird if she didn't, because he already knew that she had invited him
Hmm.
and they were planning on it. And so this is where the victim dynamics start kicking up, where she's a little like, "Ugh," you know, if she pumps the brakes on this, what message does that send him? She's all tangled up in this weird thing. Interestingly, he took the man down position with her parents and said, does it bother you? I'm not as educated as her,
Hmm.
and stuff. And they're like, no, I mean, if you treat
Take
her
care of
well
her. Yeah.
and you're a decent human being, like that's what they care about,
Hmm.
right? Then she says something really interesting. She says she wanted him to remain happier a little bit longer.
Hmm.
And she felt trusted and like she'd been lied to, and she didn't want to betray him this way. That's what she said. Now, that is so fucked up. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tina. But the fact that there's going to be a few of those in this, I apologize
No, yeah, it's
in
wild.
advance. Just
Hmm.
earmuffs, not
Hmm.
what you shouldn't be listening
Hmm.
to this with your kids anyway, but just prepare yourself. Um, it's very weird to me that she wanted him to remain happy longer, like extend, and that carries on as a bit of a theme in this whole thing.
Yes.
It's just the avoidance of consequences.
Yes.
Right? So then, and this is when my psychopathy part starts going though. So he then tells her someone purchased the land adjacent to where the man was buried and they need to move him.
Right.
Before someone finds him when they tear up the land. And then he starts asking her professional questions.
Yep.
Like, how long would it take the body to
burn
decompose?
Or decompose?
First, it was decompose.
Yeah.
And then he admitted pouring a, quote, shit ton of bleach on the dude. And then he brought up the idea of burning the body. And she's like, no, you can't, because whatever, it would burn for like days unless you have an incinerator.
Well, yeah, there's something about like, what did she say? Something about like fat doesn't burn.
So now she's applying her expert knowledge. And then she's like, wait a minute.
And then she's like, is he using me
for my knowledge?
For my knowledge?
This is
also
weird.
Did he pair with me on Tinder because her profession was on Tinder? And so she's starting to go into this place of like, oh no, like this was his plan all along.
Yes. And then you have to wonder, was it?
Right.
Because it does clearly say pathologist in her profile, and he was going to need some help.
Pathologist. So I have two thoughts to this. One,
and how long did he know that that land, because that didn't happen overnight, and they'd only been together like 2 months.
No, I know. Right. So I have two thoughts about this. Either she's correct in that, yes, he had it, he saw it, and he just was like, the stars have aligned in my life. Or, and I don't think it's this, but, or he saw a pathologist and was like, that's ironic.
Yeah.
You know, and didn't maybe think like to use her for it, but maybe was like, you know, interesting. She's a pathologist, works with dead bodies, and I have a dead body on my land. I don't know.
We'll be right back.
If you work with court-ordered clients, you already know the system can be overwhelming. Documentation, coordination, compliance tracking, billing, on top of actually doing the therapy. That's why we want to tell you about Reliatrax, a one-stop platform built specifically for therapists working in the court-ordered space and voluntary treatment. Reliatrax helps you stay connected with probation and referral sources so everyone's on the same page and your clients get the best care possible without the endless emails, calls, and paperwork. And here's the exciting part. Reliatrax now offers Aura, their new AI assistant. Aura helps streamline documentation, keeps you organized, and supports your workflow so you can spend less time clicking boxes and more time doing clinical work. Reliatrax also supports insurance billing, including Medicaid, making it easier to serve both court-ordered and voluntary clients all in one system. No juggling platforms and no workarounds. And the other amazing thing is you have an actual team of people who can support you, not some automated system. If you're looking for a smarter, more efficient way to manage compliance, communication, and care, Reliatrax was built for this. Check out Reliatrax and see how it can support you, your clients, and the systems you work in without burning you out. You can go to www.reliatrax.com to get started. I don't know. Or he might not have known what it was. We may be giving him way too much credit. He may have been like, pathologist, cool, she's hot, and then hung out with her. I mean, we don't know.
Doubt that.
But I know I kind of do too.
I doubt that.
You know what? Who knows? So she starts thinking that. She realizes, okay, we need to get him reported. Like, she starts to realize this could get real bad for me. And I'm now getting involved.
Yeah.
I'm like weighing in on how we could.
Like, he's like asking her how to hide a dead body.
100%. So then she tells her parents. And her parents are like, oh my God. And I had this moment where I thought about Brian and Tina, and I'm like, they love me so much. This would be a big problem. Big problem. They would be like, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, as much as they love me, I'm sorry. There's no world in which they're fine with this. No. They love me, and they would be supportive of me, but they would be like, come again.
I'm trying to think of what my parents would do. I have no idea.
Probably I mean, when you have brought a murderer to their house or brought someone who at a minimum, maybe not a
Oh, if
murder.
I brought them, yes.
If you brought them to the house
Yes.
and then you were with them and they
My
were
parent, yes.
consulting you on how to cover it up.
No, my parents would be like, and we are still talking to this.
What are we doing here? Right? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be insane. I don't even know. I can't even tell you what my parents would do because we would never be in this position.
I know. Well, you and I have a lot of self-preservation. So something would have had to have gone terribly wrong.
Yes.
You know, like some people are a little bit of a calamity Jane and things just happen to them. That is not me and that is not you in the sense that I
Mm-mm.
think because of our jobs and our training, if anything, we are paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
We're not an open door policy. You know what I mean? It's weird.
I
But
wouldn't be getting on Tinder.
also, she's a pathologist, though. So you got to think to yourself, she's literally tried to solve cases that involve murder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's not like she was, and a doctor with a photographic memory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, okay. So she stays with her parents. The police send 2 detectives over.
Mm.
She told them the general location of where the body might be,
Well,
but
do
she
you
doesn't know
remember?
exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then what they tell her is they say, hey, stay with your parents for a few days and kind of play it cool. Right? That's what they tell her. So she's like, you know, and of course, Sandy, you know, he's relieved and having the time of his life. So he's like, let's go for a walk. Let's hang out. Let's whatever. So she sneaks out of her parents' house. An almost 30-year-old woman who just reported this man to the police. She sneaks out of her parents' house.
Goes
They
home.
grab the shotguns and she grabs an energy drink, which was not uncommon for her, sugar-free
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull,
Mm-hmm.
and asked to go shoot clays,
Mm-hmm.
knowing this is where this man is buried.
Well, she was trying to figure out where he was buried
Yes.
because she realized during this first part of the investigation, she starts to put it all together. Like, I actually have no clue where on their land
No.
this man is. And so she's like, I'm going to try to figure it out, which I'm like, girl, like now you're becoming a
Yes.
detective, but also there's other dynamics
So
happening.
let's just go in the dead of night with this man and go, whatever. So she's like talking to him. She's trying to be cool girl. Everything's fine. And she's like, where exactly is he buried? Kind of under the guise of helping him, right? Like, babe, I'm going to need to know where the body is if I'm going to help you, blah, blah, blah. So he walks her to the spot and
Mhm.
she throws the Red Bull can over her shoulder because she couldn't find any other way. She hadn't counted her steps. She couldn't think of any other way.
Mhm.
And he sees her throw the can. And she's like, I'm such an idiot. I don't know why I did that.
Well, and then he got mad and he was like, go pick it up.
Like, go get it. Don't leave a Red Bull can on my land. Thank you very much.
No, I think I don't know. I don't know if he knew. I think there was a part of him, even if subconscious, knew something was up as to why she threw it. Because she said, I threw it right when he told me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then he's like, go get your can.
Go
I
get your
think,
can.
I think in his brain, it was probably weird that she threw it right as he told her.
I don't think he put it together in that moment.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Well, I don't think
so.
he fully put it together, but I think he thought it was weird because she said how he said, go get the can was like super aggressive.
Well, yeah, but also she was being an idiot throwing a can on his property.
No, but I don't think, here's the thing, they party like crazy. He doesn't
But if he
give a
was that
shit.
worried about it, he would have made sure she picked up the can. He didn't check.
Yeah, I don't know.
So she runs over and then she stomps on it,
To smush it.
like into the ground to kind of smush it, and then runs to catch up with him. He already dipped for the car.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also weird because if it was me, if I thought somebody just marked where I buried a body, I'd be like, let's go pick it up together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even, let's leave that to chance. You know?
That's fair.
Okay, so.
I don't know, man. I think part of him wanted to get caught.
Oh, I think a part of him wanted to get caught the minute he told her.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But still.
Yeah. No, I get you. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm thinking how scary this is because I'm like, he could have asked for the can. He could have been like, here, throw it in the trash. Like, he could have had a trash bag in his truck and been like, throw away the can, dude. And she'd be like, oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot to pick it up. You know, even though I ran back to pick it up and ran back to catch up with you. Like, that could have gone so bad. So when driving home from being with him. So she's by herself. The phone rings, unknown number. It's the police.
Mhm.
She told them she marked the place, drops them a pin, right? And then she said she didn't know. They're asking all the questions that, like, we get asked if we do a welfare check or something. It's like, do they have weapons? Would they shoot at the police? Like, whatever.
Mhm.
So she says, I don't think so, but like, maybe, I don't know, right? So she basically is terrified. She has to tell her parents that what she did and that, their house could be a targeted place by him
Mhm.
too. So then the police put tons of pressure on her to reveal his location. So when she was able to get it from him
Yeah,
on
this
phone
was
call,
sneaky.
so sneaky,
Well,
she
they were
asked for a live
texting.
location. They were texting.
They were texting, and he was like saying how much he missed her, and then she was like, "Send me your location." And
Yeah.
he does.
No, I know.
And then the police show up right after.
No, I know. And then she's like, I hated myself. I felt like a rat. I felt like a rat liar. I'm like, girl.
No, I know. The trauma bonding. Anyway.
Yes. So
Mhm.
then the police arrest the boys and they interview them on December 30th,
Mhm.
right? So the police pick them up and interview them. And David Green is the head of homicide. I have a couple bones to pick with this dude, but I will get to it.
Mhm.
So people are messaging her on Facebook, like, are the boys okay? Because they saw, the cops like went to the estate, arrest the boys. Then the detectives arrive at her parents' house and they're kind of showing it in the documentary, like side by side. Like
Mhm.
the detectives are talking to them, talking to Robert and Sandy, but
Mhm.
then also there's detectives talking to Caroline and her parents,
Mhm.
right? And the cops tell Caroline, don't worry, we've protected
You're
your
you're
anonymity.
fine. Yeah.
You're fine. She's like, witness protection today, yesterday.
Also, like the fact that they were saying that and they were like, we didn't tell him who told us. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
She's the only one they told.
yeah.
Like, and then he sends her his location and the cops show up right after. So, like,
Yes.
that part was insane to me. The fact that they
In
were like, you're fine. I was like, no, 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 no,
insane.
no. And then they let them go.
Then they let him go.
My
They let
gosh,
him
I
go,
cannot.
right?
And that part, I literally was
Oh,
like,
I was mad.
you've got to be kidding
This
me.
is my issue with David Green. David Green. I have an
Mhm.
issue with David Green, who was the head of homicide at the time.
Mhm.
So apparently she didn't meet the threshold for being at risk enough for like witness protection.
I
And they
don't even
just tell her,
understand
stay with your
how.
parents. You know, they're trying to figure out how to secure the house. Like she's terrified.
Did
So
they, was it because I don't know if they said it, and if they did, I didn't catch it. Was it because they didn't have like full-blown evidence that they had killed him yet?
yes, it was
Okay,
that. But the bigger thing that comes out not until the end is they hadn't been in a relationship very long. So they really thought that she could just tell him, like, hey, you got arrested. I want nothing to do with you, which in fairness, she could have broken up with him. He just got arrested.
that's true.
But they weren't thinking about
Hmm.
the bond there or the fact that he had confessed to her, which makes it different than him just getting arrested. So the
Hmm.
cops just were kind of asleep at the switch. But in their minds, this was a short-term relationship. She could just break up with him, stay with her parents. She had support. Well, she told her parents she was going to stay with a friend, but she lied. She went back to her flat, and waiting on her front door is a package, and it's her wedding dress that she and his mom ordered online.
Just wild.
Weird, couple things are weird. Why we haven't heard much about his parents yet. Why did she order it with his mom?
Well, she did talk about meeting his mom
Yeah, but
at
like,
some point and how happy she was that he like found someone.
I bet.
Also, do you remember the part where earlier than where we are, I think it was his twin brother told her, like, hey, he's not who you think he is.
Yeah, he's not okay. He's like
Yeah,
not okay in the
he's
head.
not okay in the head. Yeah.
Yes. No, that is true. I
Yeah.
wrote that somewhere, but I missed it. You're right, Nat. But still, that's still weird because she seems kind of close to her parents, but her parents are also, they don't know what's going on. So that's
Well,
weird.
I mean, she's closest to our age. I feel like parents in that generation were easy to kind of snow. Like, I snowed my parents all the time.
You can't snow Tina.
I believe that. But
You
yeah,
can't snow Tina. There's no Brian maybe on a good day.
mm-hmm,
Tina hears everything, knows everything.
mm-hmm.
There's no snow in Tina Stout. You just can't do
Yeah,
it.
we snowed our parents all the time. This was
Ugh.
also not her maybe, but we snowed our parents back before there were like doorbell cameras and, you know, things
Well,
that would catch people.
now there's ring doorbells. We got all kinds of stuff.
My cousin's kids, they're in high school now. I shouldn't say this, but I'll share a little. One of them like had a little season. He's not doing it now, but had a little season where he would sneak out to see his girlfriend, and
Oh,
he got busted because they have exterior cameras.
100%.
I'm like, kids don't know these days. Like, you
No,
just can't. There's
my
no way
parents
you're
have
gonna
like
get away with it.
squeaky floorboards, first of all. They're just the tiniest bit squeaky. And Tina, her hearing is, I don't even
Despicable.
understand it. It's like
Yeah.
next level.
My parents' hearing is terrible.
No, my dad wouldn't hear me going out the house, but my mom for sure would have heard me. You know.
We also,
Also, I had all the freedoms. I didn't have to sneak out. I could do whatever I wanted, really.
yeah, we lived on the ground floor for 3 out of the 4 years in Colorado Springs.
Mm.
Lived on the ground floor in an apartment.
Oh,
So we just snuck right out the back door.
you could
And
just
then
go.
in the house we lived in our senior year, my brother and I's room was in the basement
Oh,
with a door. Like there was a,
mm.
So
You could get out. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, totally.
My poor parents.
So, Caroline, listen, she, the pathologist starts to show some pathology, okay? Allegedly, not
Yes.
diagnosing. She puts on the dress.
No, I know. It's weird. She was like, I just wanted to know what it felt like.
And she doesn't just put it on, she's like video and she's talking to this, I mean, it's,
Photos,
oh my
crying.
God, the drama, the drama. And I'm like, yes, you're in a dramatic situation. Also, this is self-imposed. You just put the dress on and went full like nonsense for
Well,
a
she
minute.
almost like is reacting as if she like he died.
Yeah.
Not that he's like a
The person that
murderer.
she's known for, I don't know. Okay, September, end of September. Nope, October, beginning of October
Mm-hmm.
to December 30th.
No, I know.
We got 90 days.
No, I.
Okay, we're talking about 90
And
days.
she's
We're putting the
acting
dress
as if
on.
she's
Oh,
literally acting as if he died and that they've been together forever.
I can't. I'm not
I'm
the
like, you've
friend.
been together 3 months and he murdered someone.
I am the friend you need in that situation, but I am not the friend you want. You know what I mean?
Same.
I'm gonna be like, oh my
Same.
God, you are on some nonsense. I don't
Snap out of it.
get over it. I don't even know. I would chuck you in the shower, cold shower so fast to make your
She
head
also,
spin.
she also wasn't talking to any of her friends.
Right. Because they're like, you're an idiot. I can't listen to you. Take the dress off. What are
Yes.
we doing? Anyway,
Yes.
it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so she's like, I'm spiraling. No shit. She's out of command.
No shit, Sherlock.
She's done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then she gets a message from Robert and Sandy's friend. It looked like an unidentified number, but it was like from a friend. And she was like, oh my God, they know I'm online because she's vague booking whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I have to respond right now or else they're going to know that I had something to do with it. Might be a little bit of truth to that. Also, it would help if you weren't sitting there in your wedding dress. So she messages them basically like, I've been so worried about them, like whatever.
Tell them hi.
Yeah. 100%.
Tell Sandy hi.
Tell Sandy, hey babe, whatever. Bing, phone rings, right? Sandy's calling her up. And so she decides to go see him.
Mm-hmm.
She decides to go see him. And she's like, I'm going to go be with him. And I'm just going to hope that he maybe doesn't know that it was me. And she said, I just felt like I had to see him. And I'm like, you really didn't. You just didn't. You didn't have to see him. You really didn't.
It's crazy.
So meanwhile, the police, they're digging it up. They're digging up the dirt, whatever. And then basically they have this really cold end of December into January, really, really cold. And they're trying so hard to like be careful with this dirt and kind of dig in and go really slow so they don't destroy evidence. Meanwhile, Caroline's hanging out with Robert and Sandy, and Robert, the twin, Sandy's twin brother, pulls Caroline aside and decides also to unburden himself. And he tells Caroline he was alive. We hit him and we moved him to the side of the road with the bike, and then they left him there. Right?
But far enough to the side that no one would see him.
That no one would see him. They went back after changing their they went back to change their clothes. They left their SIM cards, put gloves on, went back, and he was alive but fading. They lifted him onto a tarp and kept him overnight in a wooded area. The next morning, they used the same vehicle they used to move him, like the same vehicle that was involved in the accident. They used it with hunting clients the same day. After the hunting clients, they bury Tony Parsons, and the clients left. And what she says is, even if it was an accident, all the actions after that were not accidental. So it's no longer a hit and run. Now it's a murder, right? So later that night, Sandy's smoking a cigarette and he starts talking about the case. And she realizes if I record him, it might help the police.
So she was recording him. She was playing a chess game, right, on her computer?
Playing a chess game on her computer and recording.
How random is it that there was a recording component to the chess game?
Well, it was on WhatsApp. So she's playing chess, and then she pulled up WhatsApp. Yeah, and she's recording.
Got it. I thought it was a part of the game.
And then she starts deciding to be like a little confrontational to get him to like say stuff. I'm like, you
girl, you're not a detective.
Wow. You can, I have this thing with Tina when she's riding with me. I'm like, you can either drive or you can ride. You can't do both. You can't tell me how to drive while you're riding. We're not doing that. She needs to decide if she's an informant or a girlfriend real fast. She just can't seem to figure that out. She's just like playing both sides and then panicking in the middle. I'm like, girl. But that's where my brain started going somewhere that it shouldn't go because I know better. So I will clear that up. So they do this little boop-diddy-boop over to Greg Bryce, who was the community policing cop for this area from 1999 to 2011. And he hears about the case and he's like, those boys, it probably has something to do with those boys, and goes on to talk about how those boys were in school. They were rough and ready. And basically, while the boys were in school, like primary school, elementary school, the administration was so concerned that they had the house searched and there were weapons everywhere. Pistols.
In their room.
Shotguns in their rooms.
Yeah.
And then the boys were already really well versed in slaughtering animals, firearms. And so he kind of talks about the impact of that on a young brain. And how desensitized you would be to taking a life and disposing of a body, disposing of a life, right? And honestly, I'm a little surprised they didn't shoot him, Tony. I thought when they hit him, because the thought process with an animal would be it's suffering, put it out of its misery and bury it. Like I thought that for a while. I was like, they're gonna find a gunshot wound or something. You know, but no, they just let him die slowly by himself on the side of a road, which is unreal. So then I'm thinking about my kid, because primary school, I'm thinking about Mac, and I'm like, he's the most empathetic soul on the planet. Like he cares about all things, animals. We're not born to hurt things that way. Like that's not interesting to most kids. Most kids are like pretty tender actually about stuff and people, and they don't like this kind of stuff. And so when I'm thinking about these kids firing weapons, killing animals, that kind of stuff, and I get hunting, you know, and teaching your kids to shoot, whatever. That's not what this was, though. This was like,
well, and there's like
strewn all over the house
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It was wild.
Well, and there's an age where it's more appropriate, and that's what the officer was saying. He was saying there, if you do this too young and you don't teach the appropriate like hunting like etiquette, like when I
Yes.
talk to Preston and his friends about hunting, there's like a ritual. It's like you
Yes.
thank the animal and you do your best to preserve as much as you can and like understand the process of it. It sounds like that was not this. It was like
Yes.
you kill the animal, you dispose of the parts you can't use. Like there was
Yes.
no, yeah, the point of there, what am I trying to say? There wasn't the gratitude part that was taught to them.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So then and their father went to prison over it. He
Yeah.
was put in prison over
Yeah.
owning pistols are not legal there, like that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Also, you can't have them in your kids' rooms like that. That's
No,
insane.
it's insane.
They weren't in cases, they weren't in safes
No,
or anything.
no, this was not responsible gun ownership. This was like nonsense.
Yeah.
So then, meanwhile, at the pit that they're digging, they figure out that it's a kill pit because they're finding deer bones. So what they realize is there actually are a lot of deer bones, fresh animal bones in this pit, and they bring out a vet surgeon to verify that these were recent. So around the same time that Parsons went missing is when some of these bones were put in this pit. So they keep going and they start finding little wood chip bits, and they find the same wood chips in the bucket
Digger,
of the
yeah.
digger truck that those two had access to. So that was kind of a clue. And then they start to kind of slowly piece different parts of the twins' lives to the crime, but nothing's like a straight line yet. Caroline's just waiting for a body to be found. So she's just always a little bit afraid.
But also like living this like fake life with him, which
With
is
him.
insane.
With him, because
Yeah.
in fairness, she didn't get any protection from law enforcement, but
It's
she
true.
also went back in a very weird way. So she's in these
Yeah, she could have just said, hey, like exactly what you said. And also one of the detectives did say this, like they said, she could have just said, dude, you were arrested.
I'm over this. I don't want to be in this relationship.
Yeah.
I've known you for 90 days.
And
right?
like I know too much. I'm not gonna, I just don't want in
I'm
any
a
of it.
doctor, for goodness sakes. I don't want to be with you. Like it could have been that simple, but no. So while she's sleeping with Sandy snoring next to her one day,
And Robert's in the other room.
Robert's in the other room, which
Like they're both staying there.
it's weird. The three of them have a strange dynamic.
Well, I have thoughts, but yes.
I do too. But anyway, Robert's sleeping wherever. Sandy's snoring in her bed, and there's this big bang on the door, and she's like, that can only be the police, right? So she goes and she's like, let's talk downstairs. She opens the door, and the cop, the female detective, is not having it. She's like, who's in there?
She knows.
Pushes in the door when Caroline said there were friends there. And then she walks in, sees Robert, gets Robert and Sandy out of bed, and looks at Caroline. She's like, what the fuck, Caroline? You're our witness.
Well, no. She said you're our witness before she ripped them out of bed because Caroline.
Yeah, she wasn't sure if he heard.
She was like, oh my God, did he hear that just now?
Oh my God.
You're right. I know, like this part. Right. And then
they announced it on the way in, and then gets the guys out of bed, tells them they're supposed to be at their parents' house. And the police were actually there in theory, although I find this interesting, to check on Caroline to make sure she was safe. But they were pretty stunned to find the brothers there, which you would be. You would be a little surprised to find both brothers at Caroline.
I think the chick cop knew. Yeah. Because you don't bang on a door like that.
Well, you have to be wondering
just to
if she's
check on someone
too, though. Like, if I'm the detective, I'm going, she might have known. Like, there's something's going on here. You know what I mean?
I know, but that's the thing, though. Like, if they wanted to keep the story, whether it's true or not, of they were just there to check on her, you're not banging on the door. No. You don't push your way past the door. No. Right? Like, I think they had an idea because the boys weren't where they were. She wasn't with her parents. I think they knew.
So then she's in the living room. So the police leave. She's in the living room with
They
Robert.
leave her with them,
They
which
leave
is
her with them.
crazy. Oh my
And
God.
Robert's like, how'd they know your name? Have you met them before?
Mm-hmm.
Have you spoken to the police? And
Mm-hmm.
Sandy comes rip roaring in. Back off. I trust her. Robert's angry. Sandy's
Mm-hmm.
comforting Robert. They're upset. Sandy reassures him they won't find Parsons and
Mm-hmm.
said that he wanted to stay with Caroline, but Robert had to leave. So Sandy was allowed to stay with Caroline legally because they're partners. Robert had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So Sandy tells Caroline he knows she'd never betray him. And she talks about how comforting that was to her. And
Mm-hmm.
then she starts playing the role of dutiful girlfriend and believing her own lies, really.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
she tells her parents, finally, Sandy thinks we're still a couple and he has a key.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandy hasn't really been able to talk to anybody. So who does she message? The buddy James. Who got
Mm-hmm.
James? James is just like this poor guy who's like, what happened to my friend from
Mm-hmm.
medical school? Like this is nuts. So the friend came and he goes, she looked shocking. Like the house is trashed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was like OCD
Mm-hmm.
clean when he
Clean.
knew
Yeah.
her. And it's
Yeah.
everything's a mess. Um, she's telling the story, and I'm thinking to myself, what was it like for the friend to be? Can you imagine you're with your friend? She's a
Mm-hmm.
hot garbage mess. It takes her 20 minutes to get the story out that her murderer boyfriend is
Mm-hmm.
out and about and coming back. And James is like, deuces.
No,
Like,
honestly, I was like, dude, you
get out,
should have
James.
called him earlier because he has good boundaries. He has great boundaries. He literally was like, "Yeah, I'm married with a kid on the way.
Like,
Like,
bye.
I'm not doing this."
I'm
And then
out.
he's coming in, Sandy's coming in, and he like goes to like shake his hand. He's like, it was the most awkward handshake ever. And just
Oh,
I left.
he just left. And that would have been horrible if Sandy got there and this dude's there and she's all emotional and like clearly has been talking about things. Oh my God. Like that could have been a real bad thing,
Hmm.
you know? So James talks about how sad he was driving home though, because he's like, my friend's not okay. And that's a
Yeah.
terrible feeling, right? So
And also, here's the other thing. She just drugged someone else into it by telling him this and
yeah,
could have actually gotten him in a lot of trouble
yeah,
if the police weren't already on the twins' tail.
yes.
He could have then become whatever they're called,
Informant or whatever.
or like yeah, like a witness, but not saying anything.
Yes. Yes. So when they found out about the carcass pit, the authorities, which they knew kind of that this was a thing, but when Sandy became aware of it, he was smashing his fists. He was so pissed, and he was convinced that there were listening devices in the house. So he's taking apart light fixtures, he's going crazy. And then on a super cold day in January, as they're digging, they find red material and it looked like the
Mhm.
fabric that the cyclist was last seen wearing, Tony Parsons. They
Mhm.
could see a fingerless glove of the cyclist and there was a ring on the wedding finger.
Mhm.
He was carried out and then they take the body to the mortuary,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Her
Her
mortuary.
mortuary.
Dude, I was like, no, you can't make this shit up.
And it was basically 3 years and a few months after he was last seen,
Mhm.
right? And as they take the remains in, they have a problem
Mhm.
because the same hospital where they took the remains is her freaking hospital.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
also, I guess after that, she goes to the police station
mhm.
because Sandy, who had been silent when they found the remains, started to figure out that something was going on. because he'd been telling himself it was a different farm worker or whatever. So she drove as fast as she could to the police station when they found the remains to tell them that Parsons was alive after the hit and to give the confession. And she felt like she was doing something good. Right? Problem is, it takes 7 days for a body to be examined. They had to do a full postmortem, and they didn't have enough basis for the arrest. Because in Scotland, you have to have all facts must be proven by 2 sources of evidence for an arrest. So they couldn't arrest them. They didn't have enough to charge them.
Dang.
So she's back at the flat. She's feeling lighter and happier. Like she, told the police they found this. Like this is going to be over. Sandy calls. He's driving his pickup. It's on speaker. And he's screaming, earmuffs if you don't want profanity. You fucking little bitch. You fucking did this. And he starts talking about how Scotland police had help from the local farmers with the grave digging because they had to get on other people's land and stuff. And they found a sugar-free Red Bull can there. And he figured it out. So he drove to her place telling her he needed to see her face to face. And she just starts screaming, running around her apartment.
Big mad. Well, and this was when she decides to get like a backbone.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's like, you know what?
She's like, fine, come over. Like, you're the one who drug me into this. Like,
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So he shows up. She's ready for a fight. She's ready to come at him, and he's broken. So sometime between cursing her out, this is weird. He's cursing her out in the car, driving to her flat, and then he gets there and he's broken. And he's like, I did this.
He got there and they were arguing, and then that's when he shifted into like,
but he didn't kill her, punch her, push her, nothing.
She's gutsy to stay in her flat and see him.
God, also police, call the police. I don't know, whatever. I know she didn't have a lot of faith in the police at that point, but she lives in Glasgow. She's not in a rural area. Call the police. But he had a key to her place and she was terrified, whatever. So she fights with him. He breaks. He admits it was his fault. And you can hear the recording of that because she was recording that too. So then she filed a complaint with the police because she's like, you put me in a terrible position. Also, she's put on leave from work because she can't be at work while they're examining the body of her that was killed by her boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just like too messy. And she's the witness. So they put her, she had to be on leave. So she's home from work during lockdown. She's paranoid, anti-police, feels like a failure, right? Who do you think she missed?
Him.
Freaking Sandy. And Sandy's still messaging and whatever else, right? So that we're now 3 months after McKellar was arrested and released, okay? 3 months after, April 2021. She's up there having a false reality with those two twins. And they all love each other, and Robert accepts her back. The police know she's there. They have the funeral for Parsons, and she's just running around with Sandy.
And the thing is Sandy and Robert obviously both know that she turned them in.
Yes.
Robert was super pissed, and then like you said, he quote unquote accepted her back.
Yep.
And like,
yep.
This whole thing, just to paint the picture, is like they are drinking, doing drugs for like a while.
Oh,
and they would talk about how like kind of fucked up their friendship is.
Yes.
And their dynamic because of like they did this thing, they brought her into it, she turned them in. So at this point I kind of was like, and it's different than this concept, but and I know you have quote unquote toxic draw. In my brain I was like, this is kind of a trauma bond.
Oh, it's the epitome of a trauma bond.
Like they are all just like, and she even said it. She said, like, only us really knew how bad this was.
Yes.
Like only us. Like they knew obviously like their offense, but like I was drug into this, so I also knew how bad this was. And then they're all swimming in it together.
Yes. And the police, meanwhile, they're just making connection after connection. They figure out The boys had taken the Isuzu pickup to a shop really far away, said they hit a deer. The shop had
Paid
photos,
cash.
paid cash, no insurance claim, and then they had pictures of the damage, which was consistent with the collision. So, like you said, this is now 6 months after the arrest and the release, and the three are just nonstop bender.
It's wild.
But the tone is starting to shift a little bit. And I was thinking to myself, Nat, this is like a prolonged standoff. So we talk about how dangerous it is. And we do work sometimes with offenders when there's a warrant that they don't know about, and we don't tell them. It's a safety thing. We don't tell them when there's a warrant. Not because we hate them and want to screw them up, but just because it increases risk always. When somebody knows they're imminently going to get arrested or go to prison or whatever, the risk is so, so, so high, right? And so this was like a nonstop standoff. That's kind of how I see it. Now they're partying, but there's a little bit of duress happening for all three of them because they're just waiting. And they talk about like the cops would drive by and they'd all freeze. Like if they drove by for something else or whatever, right? So in one particular night, they're playing Scrabble, and Standy starts talking about the case. And Caroline, and the look she makes on the camera, she does this little shrug like, She hit record again while she's with these two.
Also, like,
This lifestyle, she hits
why are
record.
they sharing about the case when they literally knew she turned them in? I was sitting there. I was like, they're all so messed up. Like,
They're so
all of
messed
them.
up. They're so messed up. So, but they're also super intoxicated, using drugs.
Yeah.
She's on cocaine around the clock.
Codependent. Yeah, all
So
of it.
codependent, right? Okay. So they start talking about trying to send the bike over a waterfall. And she's asking where. And he's talking about how his attorney said the case is circumstantial and relies on Caroline. And she all of a sudden starts getting the ick. Because he's talking like it. I love how she's surprised by this. He's already talked about it like this before to her, but whatever. He's getting arrogant.
Yeah.
And showing no remorse. And he says about Parsons, it was a stupid fucking see you next Tuesday. Shouldn't have fucking been there. And Caroline has this moment of like, who is he? You know, she's living this lie, but being high and drunk made it possible. But at that moment, she decided he's not going to change. I don't know why she was sitting there waiting. I think she was waiting for him to get arrested, but whatever. She decides to leave. Why did he let her leave, Nat? This is like, this flies against everything that we know about these kind of dynamics. He let her leave.
I thought she kicked them out. Because it has in the recording, it says she's screaming at them, get out, and then she leaves her flat and goes.
No, because she had given up her flat. I thought that too. So I think she screamed get out when she was like packing her stuff. Because I thought that too, but she moved back to Glasgow to her parents' house and said she'd given up her flat. So she left. Yeah, she left. I don't know in that moment what was going on, but she moved back to Glasgow and didn't even have her own place. So she moves in with her parents. But she's in her room all day, awake all night. She's detoxing from drugs and alcohol too, right?
She's also recording everything because at this point, she doesn't have her job. She had to go and leave because the body is at her hospital.
Yes.
So she's like recording everything.
And she couldn't go back to work partially because of the state she was in. So she actually did try to go back, but then she was in no state to work and she's just actively using. So the police go to the waterfalls to look for the bike because at this point she really just wanted it over. She wanted the investigation over, like it was freaking her out and she just wanted it to be done. So she shares the recordings, all of the recordings with law enforcement, and she said she can hear herself snorting cocaine on the recordings, which is just awful, you know? And then the police are like, well, you know, you could have victim support services.
Now, thank you.
Yes. So in Scotland, she should have been treated as a vulnerable witness the whole time, and she was not. So they bring in who in our work would be considered a victim advocate who gets involved and is like, this is nuts. What are we doing? She needs professional help. We need to keep her safe, whatever. But it's like way, way, way too little, too late, right? So finally, in December of 2021, 11 months after their initial arrest, they get arrested. Finally arrested and charged and held. Now they show, and I don't know if you saw this part. Did you see when they're interrogating them and talking to them and he finds out about the recordings? Sandy finds out about the recordings and this is him. He starts cracking his knuckles. It's a very different Sandy.
Well, it's the betrayal.
It's the betrayal. He's pissed. He's pissed. And then we go to May of 2023. In the documentary, it snaps up there. And we see Caroline, and she says, well, most good stories don't start with someone buying a box of hair dye.
What?
I shit you not. That's what she says.
Oh my God. She's like lost it.
She lost it. So she bought red hair dye. She dyes her hair red. The trial set for July. So this is May of 2023. Trial set for July of 2023. They were arrested in December of 2021. So we've had time. Okay.
Yeah.
She's expecting the worst cross-examination you could imagine, right? Because she went back with them. She was a doctor. She was back and forth. She told them, but not everything. And then, you know what I mean? Like, she looks bad.
She looks, so I Googled, her name, and I see the red hair dye. She looks like she's lived a hard life.
Yes.
Now.
Oh, she does? I didn't look her up now. She looks lovely in the documentary.
No, in the documentary, she's very lovely. No, now she looks like she's lived like a pretty hard life.
Oh, I'm gonna look her up. But she gets this red hair dye, dyes her hair. The day she was supposed to testify, it might have been the day before or the day of. Okay, and this is the part, I don't know if you've seen this part. Have you seen this part? Okay, so she looks a little bananas with her red hair. She takes off. She literally was waiting to testify, like, getting ready to testify. She takes off and she goes, I'm going to find the bike. And she takes off on what would be an 18-mile hike. And she's recording herself the whole time. There's recordings of her and she's hiding places. And she's like, I'm going to find it. Searching waterfalls. She's like, I'm not saying in this situation at all. She's hiding in a shed on somebody's property. She's like, I'm going to find this bike, and then it's the only way, or then it won't just be me. That's what it was. It won't just be me then. If we find the bike, then they'll have this other evidence. It's not just me. Again, way too late. It's the trial. Like, she's just freaking out, right? Also, I will say, Deputy Duda, head of homicide, had sent her a letter that said, if you don't testify, you'll be arrested. And the victim advocate said, you don't have to, number one, you don't have to communicate it that way. Number two, she actually could have been questioned by the commissioner's office, not put on stand and cross-examined. So this could have been avoided from a mental health perspective for sure. But she's out there on foot having this, what she calls a psychotic finale. She steals a tractor, teaches herself to drive it on the fly, and is recording herself trying to go find this bike.
Wow.
So the police find her, haul her to jail. So now she's in a cell waiting to testify in the case. Okay, so she's like in her little sweatpants in jail. The police had to call her parents, who were terrified. Her parents are told she's facing prison time. So then in the courthouse, they're sitting there waiting for her to come in to testify. And I don't know what it's called in Scotland, but like the judge basically said, we need to substitute the word kill for the word murder. The murder charge is no longer sustainable. Meanwhile, Caroline's in her cell. If they pled guilty to culpable homicide, a crime less than murder, that would be acceptable to the Crown, right? To the court. So then there was no trial. Both boys accepted the plea.
Mm-hmm.
So they come into Caroline, who's in her cell, and they say, "You're free to leave. You don't have a criminal record for contempt of court. And the Parsons family wants to thank you very much."
Wow.
And she's just crying. She's just like,
A wreck.
she's a wreck because she's thinking she is facing jail time herself. This is going to be on her record, and she's going to have to testify. It's like the worst of all things. And she was afraid that she was going to hurt the case
Mm-hmm.
and never work as a doctor again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in August of that year, so July, they have the trial. In sentencing, August 25th, 2023, Caroline goes to sentencing and she sees Sandy. And she talked about how overwhelming it was to see Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy has a statement and said Caroline did the right thing. He basically says she did the right thing, did the thing that made sense, right? And he was there was some emotion there, I think. Robert was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months. Sandy was sentenced to 12 years. And then you helped me understand. I was like, why is it different? You're like, well, I think he was driving.
Yeah.
So Sandy was driving, so he obviously was more directly responsible.
Yeah.
And Caroline said, to me, he's a coward and a killer. So Caroline now is doing better. She's clean. She said she has a psychiatrist. She has a new partner. She's closer with her friends and family.
Good.
And there's this dog, the dog Blue, just wrecked me, her parents' dog.
Aw.
That dog just hung in there with her band the whole
The
time.
little boxer or not
Yes,
little? Not
like
but
pit bully boxery kind of dog.
yeah, I think he's a boxer.
Oh, and just loving her. He's like, you're nuts, but I love you, I
Yes.
want to know your theory on this one because it's kind of a wild ride. Psychologically, there's substance abuse in there too. What the hell was going on? What's your hot take on this thing?
I think, gosh, there's so much. As we already established, neither one of us think he's a psychopath.
I don't think so. I don't think he's a psychopath.
I think there was lack of remorse based on his upbringing.
Yes. Well, and possibly traits of psychopathy, not full blown.
Yeah.
But when I think genetics, dad had a couple screws loose in that domain,
Yeah. And I think he wrestled and I haven't seen this part yet, but when you said when he found out she recorded him, those are those traits of psychopathy of how angry he got. And that speaks to the betrayal, and that's the power and control dynamic,
Yes.
And so my guess is there was probably power and control in his family that he witnessed and experienced. Not probably, he did. And the older brother, I actually don't know if he's older. Was Robert? No, they're twins.
They're twins.
They're twins. But Robert actually seems like he acts like an older brother. And how angry he would get throughout the documentary, where she would say he got really angry when he found out it was her, or when he was how did they know your name? He was the one who was kind of more seemed more emotionally driven.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Unless they were drinking when this crazy part of Sandy would come out, which is interesting.
Right.
So who do you think was running the show when they hit Parsons?
Oh gosh. I think I don't know if I would say either one of them were more in charge than the other, because they both have those parts of them show up in different times,
Yeah.
So I would probably say they just were what do we do? And one of them probably said, well, if we do this, then that could be the end of our life, and then they would just agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if either one was in charge, to be honest.
I think Sandy convinced Robert not to do anything.
You do?
I have no idea. This is completely allegedly. This is armchair quarterbacking. So Sandy was driving.
Sandy's life would have been more over than Robert.
And Sandy we already have established was not okay when he was drunk. He would drink 8 to 10 whiskeys. He would, so there's a part of me that thinks
Oh, yeah, they would have
Sandy,
gone vehicular homicide and DUI, all of that. Yeah, they would have been hit
well, and
hard.
especially but not as hard as they were now. And that was
Right.
5 years and 12 years. So
Right.
there was a way, and he was alive.
It's true.
I actually think Sandy, based on some of the statements that he made, I think both of them were affected by it. I don't think either one of them felt nothing about it. There's too much evidence to the contrary. But
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe Sandy put exerted a lot of pressure on Robert.
Yeah, maybe.
But who knows?
Yeah, it's a wild case. I'm really glad that she is getting the help that she needs.
It's also
And
nuts that had they not connected on Tinder,
Mhm.
had he not told her, no one ever would have known,
Mm-mm.
except that they were going to be digging up
Mhm.
the land. And that's the nagging question in the back of my mind.
Like, why now?
Did Sandy know
Mhm.
when he connected with her that they were going to be digging up the land, and he couldn't talk to anyone about it, and he was lonely and he was stressed, and he meets this woman and she happens to be a pathologist, and
Mhm.
tells her the secret, and it's a weird turn of events.
Mhm.
But had he not told her, that this likely would not have been discovered.
Mhm.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy to think
that's
about?
wild. It is. It's like the stars aligned perfectly. He found a pathologist and was like, whatever he was thinking, it lined up.
Well, and he'll get out. So even Sandy, if he got 12 years in 23, I don't know if they gave him credit for time served because he'd already been in for 2 years.
Yeah.
So in theory, I mean, he could be out in 33,
Mm-hmm.
and Robert could be getting out soon. I mean, we could Google it. I think Robert might be getting out pretty soon,
Yeah.
which is just crazy. So, isn't that the craziest case? So, there's our breakdown of this one, y'all.
Yeah. Go watch the documentary. Even if you listen to us before watching it, go watch it.
Yes, go watch it. And if you have a different take or something we don't know, we have followers over there.
Mhm.
So, let us know if you know something we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know your theories. Who do you think was
In charge.
in charge when they made a couple really crucial decisions? Who
Mm-hmm.
was in charge of that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see you next week as always.
Bye, forensic friends.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening, and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.